Let's talk about basic money skills that should have been taught in school that we can actually apply in real life. These are the skills I learned to build my six-figure savings and debt-proof my finances, but also splurge on things that actually add value to my life. What's up guys, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel where I empower you to take on adulting like a boss. Coming from someone who was a consistent Dean's Lister back in college, I feel like we weren't really taught real life skills in school. I mean, you would have thought that all those math and statistics subjects, they could have at least squeezed in some personal finances 101 or something, then maybe, nasulit yung paghihirap nating lahat. Diba? But no. Well, I've got you covered because in this video, I'm gonna share the 5 money skills that I wish I would have learned in school because now it really helped me in having a sweet, debt-proof life. Speaking of, I still have a few slots for my sweet, debt-proof live bootcamp in case you've missed it, where I will be hosting a 5-day live training with the ultimate blueprint that helped me build my six-figure savings emergency fund. I'm closing the registration in just a few days, so make sure you visit bootcamp.selfstarter.co so you can register and secure your slot. And all of the information is right there. But you can also message me on Instagram if you still have some lingering questions I can help you with. This bootcamp is going to be life-changing for you to accelerate and kickstart your personal finance journey, and I don't want you to miss out. In the meantime, we can all talk about the 5 money skills that we all should have learned in school. Number 1 is budgeting using my credit card with 0% interest. So I remember back in college, like, I would paint credit cards as super evil. Like, if you have a credit card, you're gonna be in debt. Like, people who use it are just not responsible. They just wanna buy everything and feel like they afford everything and end up with a lot of utang. But what I realized is that you can be best friends with your credit card if you use it properly. So I've been using my credit card for like, I don't know, 4 years or maybe more now. I've never ever experienced interest. The reason why you get interest is because you don't pay your credit card bill in full. So when you look at your billing statement, it says there minimum amount due and total amount due. So if you just pay the minimum amount due, the amount that you don't pay for ends up getting interest for the next month. So you end up paying more than what you actually swiped up for. So that's how you get interest from a credit card if you don't pay the full amount that the billing statement states. If you just pay that minimum amount due, you are in trouble because you're gonna end up paying interest, and this is how people get credit card debt. The great thing about credit cards also is you can maximize installments. So like 3 months to pay, 6 months to pay, 12 months to pay, 24 months to pay. But that's only the case if the seller allows you to do that with 0% interest. So that's why when you see like in gadget stores or department stores, they keep saying there's 0% interest because it means that you can split up your bill into like several months so that you can spread out your expenses and budget it better. Because of that tactic, I was able to afford my first MacBook, buy these headphones that I really wanted, buy this divider, the shelf behind me, even that couch that I have in my living room that you see in my videos. All of that were paid through installments when I bought it, but I used my credit card, which is amazing, but I didn't end up paying more than it actually cost. It's a game changer, you guys. So once you have your credit card and if you use it wisely, it's gonna be your best friend. Second thing is something I rave about if you don't know yet, which is having an emergency fund, 6 months worth of living expenses. I talked about it on why it matters to have an emergency fund, and it's ultimately because there are emergencies, you guys. I mean, we all were witnesses when this pandemic hit, and it really affected a lot of people, you know, and we also can never be assured that we will always be in a stable situation. So we need to be ready with that emergency fund when the time comes, and it just gives you assurance at the back of your head that you can make your own life decisions because you can afford it. So whether it's like one day you want to move out of your parents' house, or maybe one day you want to get married, or one day you want to switch jobs, you won't get worried that you won't be able to survive the next week, the next month, the next 3 months, or the next 6 months. You will be able to have enough buffer for you to survive if in case that your income is not going to be stable. By the way, you guys, all these I'll be sharing in more depth in the boot camp. So if you want to get like actionable trackers, the ultimate step-by-step blueprint on how I was able to survive 6 years of working and now being in a place where I'm happy with where my finances are and it's continuously growing. I'll be sharing all of those secrets, all of that in detail, so that you can also make sure that you are taking that course of action in your life in a way that is personal to your journey. And that's what the bootcamp is all about. It's closing in a few days and I don't know when I'm gonna run the next bootcamp again, but one thing is for sure, I designed this curriculum with you in mind. I would super love it if you would join the bootcamp. I would love to meet you and be part of your journey. So moving on, the third money skill that I wish we all learned is that how to digitally store, access, and transfer your funds. So before, it's so funny, like, you know, when you had your allowance, you just enjoyed like having that cash. When your parents would hand it over to you, you're like, yes, I am rich for the week, I can touch it. And so you've always wanted that feeling of being able to touch cash. But then once you start working, it's so much more efficient for you to do it digitally, to digitize your finances. Because number one, when you see it, you know how much you have left, you know how much you don't have left, you know how to reduce, where to reduce, and if it's just there in your wallet and you don't remember how much it costs. For me, it's just so easy for me to look at my BPI mobile app. I can see everything there. So I can see there like my credit card billing statement, how much I've spent on my credit card so far. I can see there my total of funds on my savings accounts. So whenever I get my salary, I immediately know how to distribute my different funds, maybe paying my bills, my electricity, my Wi-Fi, my mobile plan, my credit card bill. Like, it's easy for me to distribute rather than paying everything in cash, because that's super hassle. It's not ideal for you to line up and queue up to pay for your bills, because that's a waste of time and it's also risky nowadays. It's just so easy to like pay off your bills, transfer your funds, monitor your expenses, monitor your running total so far, and know that you are on top of your savings, you are on top of your expenses. It's not just floating everywhere or hidden inside your wallet, and you don't ever have to think about like, where the hell did my salary go this month? You are in control, you are taking charge of your finances. Fourth skill is debt-proof finances with Excel sheets. You know what, guys? All those statistics subjects, I swear, those didn't do anything well, because I wish that they just taught me how to like budget my expenses based on my net salary, things like that, like real life numbers that I have to deal with. Because once I organize all of my funds in an Excel sheet, I feel like I just want to organize my life in Excel sheets, you know? So the thing with Excel sheets also is that it can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. So for me, I like to keep it simple as much as possible, because I realized when I made it super complex and super intense, like I would get so lazy to consistently update it month on month. And the thing is, I mean, for some people, it works for them to have an app, to have a notebook, to have an Excel sheet. But for me, I just want to keep everything in one file so that I don't get confused with several different digital tools. I also want to be minimal when it comes to tracking my finances, because at the end of the day, you want it to be consistent, not intensely complicated, that you just end up giving up on it eventually, which we don't want. So in the bootcamp, I'll be sharing like the ultimate beginner-friendly budget and expense tracker that I've been using for years and years. So from your savings fund to your managing your salary, to managing your wish list, things like that. For me, it's like super simple, straightforward, and effective. And as for the fifth money skill, is something you don't learn until you're in it. Like, you're already earning your salary and it just hits you when you finally understand the point of saturation. So basically, you know, when we didn't have our salary, we were like, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna get this, I'm going to brag about this, I'm here to share to you. I kinda achieved a certain point where I can actually say that I can afford what I want. Like, if I want something, I could go and get it if I wanted to. It's not something that like I'm sharing like as to brag or anything, but the purpose of me sharing that is because even if I know that I can afford anything and everything that I want, it reaches a point of saturation where you're like, yeah, it's true what they say, that money doesn't buy you happiness. It's supposedly like the more you can afford, the happier you'll be, the more you can afford, blah, 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 blah. But then eventually it just hits a plateau. It doesn't mean anymore that the more you can afford the things that you want, the happier you'll be. there's a ceiling of happiness that you can get from buying things. What matters more is, did you stick to your values? Are you spending quality time with people that you actually care about? Are you fulfilling your own dreams? Are you doing what you love? Do you enjoy waking up in the morning? Do your expenses speak to your values? When you really take a hold of that, that becomes your criteria in spending. This is what true joy is. This is what true freedom really is. And you really only realize that when you're at that point. I mean, that's reality. Like, having money can only take you so far. But if you lose track of yourself, if you lose track of who you are, if you lose track of your values, then it doesn't mean anything anymore. If you want to get into these subjects deeper and get in a live Q&A with me, then it's all going down in the bootcamp, where you can register before I close the registration in just a few days. I mean, I'm only limiting it to 50 people, and if you are one of those people who take on this challenge and say yes with me, then you're not gonna regret it. So hopefully this is not goodbye, because I'll be seeing you at the bootcamp.